Hey there, this is a meditation on moving from stuck to mobilized, or from the freeze state into ventral, let's just say engagement with the world. And so we're going to engage external cues of safety to begin. So begin by just finding something off into the distance, a visual anchor that's maybe 20 to 25 feet away. If you have access to a window, even better, because you can go out with your attention and your visual. You can see some trees, a bench, some flowers. And if you're inside, just choose an object that feels sort of neutral or grounding and let your eyes just settle there for a few moments. Just really taking in the details, its shape, the color, texture. And as you hold this visual focus, begin to just shift your weight slightly forward. If you're seated or standing, you can do this meditation standing, and backward, forward, and backward. So if you're on the balls of your feet or in your hips, and let this movement be subtle, just a gentle rocking. And you're still keeping your gaze just fixed on this anchor point 20 feet, 25 feet away. Forward and back. Notice if your breath changes naturally. And if not, that's fine too, just simply observing without trying to force anything. This isn't about rushing the process or sort of trying to push through discomfort. We're not doing that. Simply just let the movement be tolerable, maybe even pleasant or sort of neutral. But so notice if you want to make the movement a little bit bigger or maybe a little bit smaller now that we've been doing it for a few moments, and at a pace that feels available for your body right now. And then when you're ready, you can really ground your feet, or again, ground your hips into your chair, and return to that focal point if your gaze has drifted. And now just shifting into lifting one heel at a time, or again, lifting one hip if you're seated, bending the opposite knee a little bit if you need to, and just gently moving back and forth. So again, if you're standing, it might even be a little bit more of like a march, like a very gentle march. If you're just seated, it's just a gentle, you can maybe even imagine sort of a marching action back and forth, side to side. Mhm. And then if it feels fun, if it feels supportive, you can even play with speed, maybe a little bit slower, more deliberate. Movement feels more stabilizing, or maybe your body has a quicker rhythm. But again, I don't want to force it one way or the other. No speed is better than the other. Your system knows what it needs. And just noticing any impulses in the body, maybe to go faster or to go slower. Maybe shift to another form of movement. Maybe your body doesn't like this. Maybe it's more of a circular motion. Or maybe it's stillness. Coming back to stillness for a moment, but noticing if you can even just imagine 3% more, 3% movement at least. Just paying attention without judgment. So it's like your body is just guiding you toward what feels most helpful in this moment. Again, checking in with that visual anchor, and maybe you want to pick a different visual anchor 20 to 25 feet away. Yeah. And then, if you'd like to experiment in this sort of back and forth movement, you can experiment with even bringing one knee up a little bit higher. You could even sort of hug it in for a moment. You could grab, if you're seated, you can grab as well, just above, or excuse me, just below the kneecap before placing it back down. Just feeling that activation in your leg, the sensation of effort and support. Maybe bringing up the other knee. Again, if you're standing, that's great too. Moving back and forth, bringing the knee in ever so slightly, hugging it in. But by bringing our awareness to our physical body, that can really help pull our attention away from some of the looping thoughts that we might have. So allowing the mind to stay a little bit more present, just really settling with the presence, with the awareness, the mind. And as you're moving, just notice if you feel a little bit more capable, like a little bit more present. And do your next steps in the day feel a little bit more available. Or simply even just noticing a tiny energy shift, even if it's small. And then now let's get the arms in movement a little bit. So if you want, again, you can, if you're seated, you can make a little bit of movement and find some motion. So just start by just letting the arms sort of swing back and forth in a gentle, controlled rhythm. If it feels good, you can allow the movement to grow, even letting the momentum just sort of take over. And notice how the energy begins to shift as you increase the range of motion. Again, if you're seated, this might be a little bit more difficult, but you might find at this point you want to stand up, actually. I'm going to stay seated just so that we can get a good visual on me. But as we're moving, if you want to stand up, go for it. And allow yourself to continue to build momentum. If that feels comfortable, or if at any point the movement starts to feel more overwhelming or too fast, you slow it down. So return to a more controlled, intentional swing, if that's what feels most comfortable. If the rhythmic movement feels soothing, just allow yourself to continue to build momentum. Sometimes that just feels really good. Return to your focal point. Check in with your breath and see if you slow down the arms for just a moment. Check in with that point. Notice if sort of a natural sigh emerges. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But notice if, yeah, just any simple observations of how the body regulates. And now As we close, we're going to sort of honor the next step here. So, what changed since the beginning of this practice? Has your energy shifted? Do you feel lighter, more alert, or present? Maybe you feel a sense of a new activation, perhaps a little bit of restlessness or charge. And that's okay, because sometimes as we move out of a frozen or sort of more stuck state, it brings us closer to the energy that was maybe overwhelming for us in the first place. And so, if you're feeling activated, this could be a really good time to engage in a movement practice that sort of releases that energy. Sometimes um, shaking or just a gentle up and down bobbing can really help. Again, not too much, not too little. We're kind of doing a Goldilocks, finding a good middle ground. But I'd encourage, on the flip side, if your system is asking for grounding, choose a practice that brings you into a sense of safety and containment, something that sort of stabilizes you. So neither response is better than the other. There's no right or wrong here. Important thing is just honoring what's true for your body in this moment. So if you'd like, as we're settling, landing this plane, take a few moments to journal what you noticed. What helped you shift? What felt supportive? There's no rush. Again, if journaling is not in the cards today, maybe it's just more movement, but keep listening and keep moving at a pace that feels right for your body. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to you really soon.